All right, so we're on to 10.2, which is a different type of solving equations. Kind of add one more step to it, to what we did last week. Okay, so we add one more step to solving equations, but the visualization actually for this one, and it's not the same type of modeling you would see in your textbook, but it actually kind of shows and makes a little bit more sense to what an equation is and how we're going to actually do the math part. So I want us to visualize it first so we understand what we're doing, and then we'll write out the equation. So we're going to work kind of backwards, okay, using these things. So let's go from this current slide. Okay, so this is our first one. So I'm going to pretend, okay, here we have 5 blue dots. All right, and then we're going to take this splat. Okay, this is called splat math. So how many do we see? Okay, we see 5. All right, great. Now we're going to cover some of these dots with a splat. Okay, that splat, okay, they're covered, right? So there's an unknown amount on the inside of this black splat. Okay, technically, if we didn't know how many there were total, we wouldn't know what's underneath this black splat. Okay, we wouldn't know what's under there. So we know we have this black splat is covering a certain number of dots, and then we have 2 more. But we know in total the number of blue shapes was supposed to be 5. Okay, so when I think about it, okay, how many shapes are going to be under that splat? All right, well, I'm supposed to have 5. I can see 2 of them, okay? So in your mind, what would you do? Okay, well, I go, okay, if there's supposed to be 5, I take away these 2, and that'll leave me with 3. So when we look under, how many are there? Oh, it's 3. So there's 3 in that unknown splat, okay? So let's do this one, but this time I'm actually going to write out the equation for it. So in total, we have 8 dots, okay? 8, whatever you want to think of them as, apples or candies, I don't know. You got 8 of them. And then we cover some with a splat, okay? The splat is going to represent our x, okay? So this whole box here, this is x, okay? We don't know how many shapes are under here. We're trying to figure it out. So technically, if we write this equation, we have x, we have a certain number of blue dots underneath the x, and then we also have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 blue dots. And in total, when we put all of these dots together, we need to get 8 total blue dots. But we don't know what's in here underneath this x, okay? How many dots are under there? Well, we did that last time. We said, okay, well, what did we actually do? Okay, to figure out how many were in x, we went the other way, okay? We went, okay, well, 8 minus these 7 is going to give me what I have left. So 8 minus 7 is 1, which means that I should have 1 dot underneath the splat. Oh boy. Okay, and it's true, okay? There is 1 splat under, 1 dot underneath it, so we did our math correctly, okay? Let's do one more. Let's do this one, 10, okay. So we got 10 dots. We cover some with a splat, okay? So if we write out our equation, we got 10 total blue dots, okay? So this is our total. We have a certain number underneath this x, okay, this unknown amount. There's a certain number of blue dots under there. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 blue dots outside of it. Okay, well, how do I figure out how many are underneath the splat? Okay, well, we go, okay, we know there's 10 in total. If we take away the ones we can see, so 10 minus 8, I'm going to be left with 2. So that's going to be the number that's underneath our x. Okay, so these are very simple equations. There's just one x, there's just one splat, but I wanted to visualize it first before I add a second a splat. Okay, a second splat. So this one, let's do, we got 15 total dots, okay? And when we look at this, we're going to cover them with splats. Oh no. Okay, so let's write the equation as we see it. So we have 15 total dots. So we know there's 15 total dots. The problem is there are 2 x's now. There are 2 x's. Okay. So now we got 2 x's and what? How many dots? We got 1, 2, 3. Okay, plus 3 blue dots. Okay, so we have 2 x's where we don't know how many dots are underneath. They're the same, which means there's got to be the same number of dots underneath. How would we reason it out? Okay, well, we're going to look at it and go, okay, well, let's get rid of these ones dots. Okay, these blue dots that we can see already, let's get rid of them. Okay, so 15, we take away these 3 dots. And we're left with how many are going to be underneath these black ones? Well, there's going to be 12. Okay, so there's 12 blue dots underneath these 2 black splats. But here's the thing. We know that there has to be the same number in both of them. So somehow we need to divide or split 12 blue dots among 2 splats. Okay, so we have to divide 12 blue dots divided by 2 splats, which gives us what? How many blue dots are going to be under each splat? 6 blue dots underneath each splat. And let's check our work. And we are right. There was 6. Okay, let's do one more. So we got 20. We know that there's 20, actually, let's do a different one. I just need a little bit more space. Sure, let's do this one, okay? 23. So we know that there's 23 total blue dots, okay? Total blue dots, there's 23. But how many splats do we have that are hiding some blue dots? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 splats hiding blue dots. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extras. All right, 5 extra blue dots. All right, so first of all, let's think about what did we do last time? Okay, how do we figure out, okay, well, we got to get rid of these extras here, okay, because we can't figure out how many are in each until we get rid of these extras, okay? Just like we did previously, right? If we think back to our first slide that we did, when we had 10 of them, and we covered one with a splat, so what we did, we ended up going, well, we got to go 10 total ones, and we subtracted the ones we could see because we knew that they weren't going to be underneath that splat. So we subtracted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that left us with 2 that were going to be under that splat. So now if we go back to our current slide, all right, we've got to get rid of these, oops. We got to get rid of these extras, okay, these extra blue splats. So we're going to subtract them from that total, okay, get rid of them. So we're going to subtract 5, okay. That's going to get rid of these blue ones. All right, so 23 subtract 5 is going to be 18. Oops, there, okay, so there's 18. So what that means is we took away 5, okay, so we have 18 blue dots that are split between 6 splats. Okay, we got 18 blue dots split between 6 splats. How am I going to figure out how much is under each splat if all of them are supposed to have the same amount? Well, we said, okay, we divided 18 blue dots between 6 splats. So how many are in between each? Well, we divided 18 by 6 splats. So how many are going to be in each? 3 blue dots. 18 divided by 6. And so if I do it over here, I'm left with, under 1 splat, I'm going to have 3. And we are right. Okay. So that is the visualization behind solving these equations. Okay, and I'm going to do one more, and I'm just going to solve it. Let's do this one, sure. Okay, I'm just going to solve it. I'm going to show you the calculation so that when I do the math next, you'll actually understand where it's coming from. So we got 21 total blue dots. We've got 2 splats, 2 unknowns. Okay, plus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extra blue dots. Okay, so first thing we have to do, okay, if we pretended that this 2 wasn't here, it was just x plus 5, well, what we would do is we'd subtract that 5. We'd get rid of that 5 first, okay? If you notice, what we're actually doing is we're doing this opposite operations thing, okay? We're doing the opposite operation. If we had 5 on this side, we take them away. We subtract them, okay? 21 subtract 5, great. So what I'm left with now is I've got 2 splats. I got rid of these. They're gone. I have 2 splats left, and when I get rid of those 5s, we know that there has to be a certain number of blue dots under those 2 spots. Well, 21 minus 5 is going to be 16. So without these blue dots, we know that there's 16 blue dots underneath these 2 x's. Now we have to figure out how much is in each x. Well, we have to divide 16 between 2 splats. So we're going to be left with 8 blue dots underneath each one. Okay, and that's how you're able to visualize working with this stuff, I would say. Okay, so we're going to be seeing equations of the following type. ax plus b equals c. Okay, so we got one variable here. We have this extra, these ones, okay, that are also called constants. And we have this number in front of the x, that's telling us how many splats there are. Okay, it's also called the coefficient. All right, and this is going to be the types of equations that we're going to see. Okay, you can visualize it in terms of the scale that I did last time, all right, with big X's. So let's say I got 3 X's and 2 positive 1s. And on this side, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, I have 8 positive 1s. Okay, my scale is balanced. Okay, it's got to be at the same level. When that happens, all right, to figure out the x's, first I got to get rid of these constants, these 1s. So I'm going to take them away. But what I do to one side, I have to do it to the other because now my scale is going to be unbalanced. If I take away 2 from one side, I have to take away 2 from the other side. Okay, so now my new scale would be 3 packages that we don't know how many is in each. And we would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones on each side. And it's very similar to the splat, right? How many of these 1s are going to fit in each box so that they're even? Okay, well, we got, let's put 2 in this one, 2 in this one, and 2 in this one. Oh, perfect. They're even. There's got to be 2 in each. Okay, and that's how you'd be able to visualize modeling equations of this type.